Shalom and good day all, this is the Healing29 back again with another Marvel comic review, and in this Marvel comic review it's Moon Knight issue 15 being covered. So starting off with first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give it a 8 out of 10. I'll now move to showing some of the things around the beginning, middle and end, so we can have a look at the internal art as well as what's happening story-wise. So as the story begins, we've got some things happening with Mr. Knight, aka Moon Knight, and some things he's got prepared for something upcoming. And we move into another scene, to which we see them going to basically the barber shop to get some hair done. As we start to jump towards the middle of the story, we encounter some of the villains, such as the Nemean, and we've got Steve Grant doing his part too. And last but not least, towards the end of the story, to which Moon Knight is speaking to his psychiatrist, and some things end up making somewhat an amends at the Midnight Mission. So for the internal art, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story. To those who are new to my story ratings, I rate it on these 4 things. First is comic references, especially if there's more than one comic to the run, or maybe even a comic related to the run. Time in relation to what time of day it might be taking place, or when it will be taking place, in like calendar wise, for example. Locations, such as, is it happening in New York City, is it happening somewhere else? These things are important. And last but not least, the cast of characters. So moving into the first things first, do we get any comic references? Sure enough we do. To which we get a comic references to the Avengers issue 33 to 37 of I think a run that came out this year or last year. Moving into the next area, being time, did we get any indication of what time some of these events in the book were taking place? No, we didn't. What about locations? Well, even though the locations weren't specifically mentioned, the places I managed to make out were the psych's office, or the counselor's office, the bar. We also had the hairdressers. We also had Chinatown, and one other place, which the Midnight Mission was the last place. Moving into the last thing, the cast of characters that we had in this, Moon Knight, and of course some of his personalities. Stephen Grant being one, and Mark Spector. We also had Reese, we had Grand Amal, we also had the Nemean, we had talks and discussions about Tigra, Hunter's Moon. We also ended up meeting Kurt, and last but not least, Andrea, who is his counselor. Well, for the overall story rating for this, I gave it an 8 out of 10. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.